Today I'm happy to introduce a new product called Stitching Lines from Marin Colusa. What this is a long narrow piece of paper. It has a center line, a solid center line, and two dotted lines a 1/4 inch away from each side. And then going across are little dotted lines that are a 1/4 inch apart. What I'm going to do is make a half square triangle using this. I don't need to draw a line, and it's going to be very accurate. What I will do is measure the diagonal of my square, and it measures approximately 5.5 inches. So I'm going to take my little paper stitching lines, and I'm going to trim this a 1/4 inch shorter than my diagonal. So it's going to be 5 1/4 inches. I'm going to put this little piece away for another block. I'm going to lay down, first off I have two squares. I've cut them at 3 7/8 inch. Two squares right sides together on top of each other. I line up the solid line with the corner of the block here, hold it in place, and line up the top corner with the solid line. I'm going to sew on the dotted line. The stitching lines paper pretty much stays put where I put it. I don't have to pin it. It's got a little texture to it so it doesn't slide around on top of my fabric. Now I've turned it around, and I'm going to sew down the other dotted line. Come to the end. Of course, if you want to sew or pin your fabric squares together, you can always do that, but you don't usually need to do that. Now, I've just grabbed up here, tore it away, tears away really easy. Put my finger right there on the stitching line, peel it off, peel off the center, take my scissors, cut down the middle, and I've got two half square triangles. These will measure 3 1/2 inches, finished, or unfinished I should say. Perfect. Now, as I said, I'm going to always determine the length that I need. There's no predetermined length. So this one measures at 4 inches. So I'm going to take a little leftover piece over here. The markings start from either end, so 10 inches at either end. So we're going to go on this end. 1, 2, 3, 4. I said that was 4. We're going to cut it 3 3/4. You can cut it anywhere between 3 3/4 and 3 7/8. Do the same thing. I'm going to line up the line with the corner, line it up here, stitch on the dotted line, cut my stitching, stitch again. I can stitch from either end, doesn't matter. If I was doing a whole lot of these, I'd do it in assembly line fashion. I'd stitch all of them on one side, cut them apart, stitch on the other side, and tear it off, lift off the middle, cut in between. Now, stitching lines can be used for making several different types of blocks. You can use it for making your half square triangles. You can use it for, let me get these out of here, doing flying geese, or even snowball corners. All the directions are inside. They're very easy to read. This is Stitching Lines from Marin Colusa. Hope you like it and you give it a try.